How is it that you actually produce a PR piece that goes viral? Hi guys, my name is Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl M and PR. We are a public relations agency based in the UK, USA, as well as Uganda, and serving clients worldwide. And here today, in day number 26 of 39 days of PR training, we're here to talk about how to produce a PR piece that goes viral. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link in the description below to get access to 11 additional strategies that are not shared in this training. So fundamentally, we're here today to talk about the holy grail, virality. Okay, what is it that you could do to fundamentally get something that could go viral? Okay, what is it that you could do, and what is it that you need to consider and think about? So this is kind of the dramatic, powerful question that probably every company, not every company, but many companies that consider ultimately public relations look into when it comes to going viral. So what is it that we need to consider when we're thinking about these elements? So I think there's a couple of considerations. So the first consideration I would say is that what, like, when you're looking to go viral, what that means is getting published in lots of different media. Okay, and typically what happens if you get published in all of these different media platforms, it's as a result of one story. Okay, one story that lots of journalists either write about individually, or journalists republish, republish, republish based upon the original piece, and then other things they can find online. So it's a combination of these factors. Okay, so it could be a bit of a republishing strategy with some, of course, modifications to make it unique, or it could be, entirely new pieces based upon a story that spreads like wildfire, or a story that captures, and this is the part of it, that captures like national or general public interest. Okay, so there's a couple of like things that begin to become important, and when you're thinking about this, I'd say that there's a couple of considerations to keep in mind. So number one, if you can latch on to current news, of course, and produce something that, I mean, much like in the veins of a journalist, if you will, if you can ultimately, well, there's two elements to this. So if you can find a new angle based upon current news that presents a new and interesting view, then there's definitely a chance that that could get picked up by lots of media. Okay, so looking at current news affairs and trying to identify things that you've got a unique perspective on, or really the a really new interesting angle that deserves republication, but then also adding to that story. Okay, if there's ways that you can get, let's say, some level of additional news. The next one, if you can be the journalist. So if you have breaking news, of course, which is a very difficult thing, but if you do have access to that in some way, breaking news, news of public interest, then you can be the first person to take it to publishers. And these are definitely two ways that you could consider. Okay, current news and breaking news, and then you could look at what I would call clickbait news. Okay, so we'll go on, there's other angles. So with clickbait news, it's looking at stuff that people, it would be like looking at timeless stuff and producing new insights on timeless stuff. Okay, so when I say timeless stuff, I mean if you're able to unearth a new statistic in relation to, for example, the royal family, if you're unable to find or report on a new statistic, or just a statistic that a lot of people don't know about, that relates to, for example, Valentine's Day, then that would be something around Valentine's Day, of course, that would be really interesting. So on that element, when we talk about clickbait, public holidays are also, producing content or stuff of public interest, zoom out, around public holidays is definitely also going to be interesting. If a lot of journalists are talking, and we'll talk about this, and you can produce some cool, funny things about public holidays, that's going to be really good. So clickbait, public holidays, and the next thing also is to produce, and this might not necessarily be about stuff that goes viral, but when it's clickbait, the republishing opportunity is significant, because if it's interesting and it's something that's quirky about Valentine's Day or the royal family, then definitely you can open up the virality opportunity. Okay, and so we've got clickbait, we've got public holidays, and we've got current news, which is CN, and we've got breaking news. Okay, and then I'd say the fifth one to consider is being a reputable RSS, which is not a rich syndication feed or whatever it is. It's being a reputable statistical source. Okay, so if you're able to produce some statistics for stuff that becomes heavily quoted, again, you could relate it to, for example, current news. And if you're able to provide statistics that people can add to the news pieces, and you can verify data points, then you might become the go-to to produce data points for certain sets of data, or a certain current news piece that's clickbaity that does go viral. So these are really the 5 golden ways to consider to going viral. Of course, if you want our help with that, just get in touch with Pearl M and PR. But these are the ways that you can get it done.